Hi, it's Kirby
and Dana
from KJF-TravelAdventures, and we're on day 2 of our Virgin Voyages Scarlet Lady cruise. We're in Key West, but first, breakfast, but mostly coffee. Let's go! Alright, we're officially off the boat in Key West. Figure out what our plan is. First stop's actually going to be CVS. Looks like there's two. There's one right by the port, but it's slightly in the opposite direction of Hemingway House, which is, spoiler, what stop number 2 is. So we're walking to CVS and then we're going to head to Hemingway House. Look at this tree. CVS is 0.48 miles. Took us about 12 minutes to walk here from the port. All right, we're done at CVS. Next is Hemingway House. And we're walking down Duval Street, which is sort of the main touristy block with all the restaurants and bars and things. If you are looking for something to do in Key West without doing any sort of excursion. In Key West, the sidewalks on Duval Street were pretty well maintained and pretty wide. Some of the side streets we've been walking on still have sidewalks, but they're a little more narrow, so it could be harder to navigate with a mobility aid, but so far everything's been doable. All right, so Hemingway House was 0.41 miles from CVS, so that's about 0.9 from the port. Took us about 25 minutes if you combine both walking to get here. Aaron, how was your afternoon at Hemingway House?
Hemingway House is interesting. You can take guided tours, but you can also do a self-guided tour, and that will tell you the history of the house and some history about Hemingway and his life in Key West. But clearly we were there for the cats, obviously. Yeah. And they care for 59 cats on property. And that's like veterinary care and feeding and all the things.
And it's population controlled. We were talking to I'm not sure, a worker or volunteer who is explaining that they do spay and neuter the cats, but after they've sort of had a litter that keeps the population sort of steady, then they spay or neuter, right? Well, with the 6-toed cats, with the Hemingway cats, really.
What's the real word for that?
I don't know.
Okay, someone does.
Someone in the comments tell us what the word for that is. I guess they didn't get the memo about not sitting on the furniture. The museum was nice. And
it's cool. I mean, if you're very into American literature, this would be very, very cool to see, because there's so many things that he's like personally touched. I mean, he lived in this house, and we know he was a hunter, and there's lots of like dead things on the walls. So like it's very beautiful.
And if you're just there for the cats, like we mostly were, there's plenty of that too.
Yes.
My goal in life is to have this many cares in the world. A bookshop, and there's also restrooms down this path that was over here as well. Hi, beautiful. Look at your feet. No. Oscar Wilde.
Oscar Wilde.
Oh my. And that's Frida, like Frida Kahlo. They're cousins. This is Alfred Hitchcock. Alfie. Oh, hi. Hi. Hemingway House is partially accessible. You can get to the lower levels and in with a mobility aid, but there's also lots of benches if you could walk a little bit and sit to walk through. This cat obviously spends most days sleeping there. That sign says, "Sleeping cat, not for sale." Guided tour that's included in the admission. We didn't, but we just heard the guided tour go by. This cat fountain used to be a urinal at the original Sloppy Joe's in town. This is Elvis, just taking a nap. Like you could get married here. Have a cat crasher wedding. Or 59 of them. Alright, we are done at the Hemingway House. I think our next stop is going to be to backtrack to Glazed Donuts and then get Dana and Sarah a key lime pie on a stick covered in chocolate. Let's go. So Glazed Donuts closes at noon, so we didn't make that. So we'll have to come back and do it again. But we are almost at Kermit's. It's about 0.7 miles from the Hemingway House. It's pretty close to the port. So the donut place closed at noon, and the Kermit's we went to didn't have the chocolate covered key lime pie on a stick. So we're 0 for 2. We're safely back on the ship and we're heading for some lunch, which we think is pizza again. We were a little too early for the pizza place, so the galley it is. It is Scarlet Night on board, but first, some coffee.
I'm part of your happenings cast here on board. I am here to tell you the myth of Scarlet Night. Millions of years ago, back before there was even a moon in the sky, imagine that, there was just stars. There was once a very brave sailor. So one night, he sailed out into the ocean on his sailboat, and he went so far out that the lights of his village just turned into teeny tiny specks in the distance. So the next night, he takes his oil lamp in his glass orb, and he sails back out into the middle of the ocean. He takes his oil lamp in his glass orb, and he dives beneath the ocean's surface. He comes closer and closer to this glowing red light when he realizes it's a tentacle. He followed this tentacle all the way down, and he came face to face with a giant, red, glowing octopus.
Alright, so we listened about the myth of Scarlet Night, and now it's time for dinner at Razzle Dazzle. that felt like I needed jazz hands for that.
So we learned that Razzle Dazzle was the term that people used during World War II. They painted their ships with these black and white stripes going in all crazy different directions. And that confused the enemy of what direction ships were going.
So they were less likely to get fired upon because they didn't know which way to fire upon.
Correct.
So that was cool.
Yeah. But the Razzle Dazzle restaurant is vegetarian forward, but they do have some meat options.
And the menu had like all the vegetarian options were in black font, and anything that had like a meat protein was in red font, so you can tell them apart. But this was our favorite restaurant.
This is our favorite restaurant of the whole ship.
Yeah, and the Beets pierogi that's about to come up was everyone's favorite bite of food on the entire dish, on the entire ship. This dish
was
so good. Surprisingly, this was our favorite restaurant.
Yeah.
And one fated night, they dove too deep. The goddess lifted the sailor's soul to the sky and immortalized him as the bright moon. There's all you to like a stranger, traction on a berry, the moonlight is solitary action, 'cause you got what I want and I need it, believe it, so give it me like you're never not breathing out.
Cabin hallways are ready for Scarlet Night.
My friends, I need to introduce to you the High Priest of the Seas. It's a bell! Ahoy, the sailors! Raise a glass and repeat after me. By the cut of the jib. By the cut of the jib. By the flight of the crow. By the flight of the crow. If there's no wind to sail. If there's no wind to sail. Then get out and blow. Then get out and
All right, how was Scarlet Night?
Scarlet Night was fun.
Yeah.
It's just so different than any other cruise line. And it's unexpected and it's fun.
And if it's your first Virgin cruise like it was ours, they did like a quick 10-minute info. This is sort of the myth of Scarlet Night, so that you kind of get the gist of the story as they start talking about things and doing performances. So that was helpful, because I think I might have been confused.
Yeah. It's all a little weird, but it's
It
fun.
is a little weird, yes, but very
It's like
fun.
performance art.
Yeah, and we saw the little like quick 15-minute octopus show,
Yes.
and the opening of Scarlet up and down the
At the,
stairs.
what is that called? Atrium?
The roundabout? I don't know. The stairs that connect 6 and 7.
Yup.
Yep. And then Sarah and I went to the first 15 minutes of the pool party, which is the like choreographed number part, and then we went back to our cabin. Yes. Good 1 a.m. morning. So our social insider room is directly underneath the manor, which is where the Scarlet Night after party is. That goes till after 2 a.m. It just says late in the app. So by 12:30, we went to Sailor Services, and they've given us, what is this, a sea terrace?
Yes. The reason being our entire cabin was vibrating.
We were in the nightclub without being in the nightclub.
So in the manor, they have a Scarlet Night after party. Our cabin on deck 5 is right below the manor. And we knew that. We booked our cabin on purpose. But we anticipated noise intrusion. So we all brought earplugs. This was not, what happened was not noise intrusion. The bass from the club was so powerful that our entire cabin was vibrating in different rhythms.
And my Pullman bed was like, dook, 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 dook.
So we were in the club.
We were in the club, in the bed. So
I went down to Sailor Services and I said, hey, when does the party start or end? Because it has a start time, but it just says till late. So she said typically 2 a.m. And so I said, well, our cabin is vibrating and we can't sleep.
She was not surprised.
She was not surprised. And she said, okay, what I'll do is I'll put you in a different cabin just for tonight so you can get some sleep. I said, great. So we grabbed our very necessary things and went up to a cabin on deck 10. So this morning we woke up because we were going to go to the 80s workout thing. Went down to our cabin on deck 5 that vibrated and our keys did not work. So we went back to Sailor Services and they said, oh, in this explanation, it sounds like you've changed cabins altogether. And I said, well, that's not what we were told last night. And they said, okay, well, do you want to go back to your previous cabin? And I said, yes, unless there's something that I don't know that you know. And she said, 1 second. So she went to go check. There's another party tonight. So she said, why don't we just move you to that other cabin on deck 10 permanently? And so that's what we did.
Yeah. So Scarlet Night, awesome.
Yes.
Make sure you subscribe. We're going to do a whole review about the Social Insider cabin and talk all about that. So look out for that. We have a great new cabin, so you might get another cabin tour. Probably on the next video for a sea terrace. Anything else?
I thought Sailor Services did a good job. There was just a little bit of weird communication that made some blips, but I think that they
tried their darndest to help us.
And our person was very kind.
Yes.
So.
They solved our issue.
Yeah.
And we're happy.
Yep.
All right. I'm Kirby.
I'm Dana.
From KJF-TravelAdventures. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you get notified when all of our new videos drop. Bye.